Obviously, you guys all watch the game and gals, so I think defensively we got better at the start of the second half. It's not helpful when you got your more experienced guys on the bench in foul trouble, but I thought our guys off the bench gave us a great boost. I mean, we thought that depth would help us, and here we are in game one, and it already showed. So better in the second half, even though as I referred to us, I think as Swiss cheese at halftime in the locker room. Neither half did they get over a point per possession, so they were below one both halves. It felt because there were so many possessions and they were hitting the rim at will. So it was, I think, some good learning opportunities, specifically for like Nolan Winter. It's the first time he's had to guard something like that, and he got obviously more minutes because of Steve's foul trouble. But I think a good team win, and I thought Chucky was terrific in terms of how he took a group of younger guys with Max and AJ and Matt and Tyler and Steve were all on the bench in foul trouble. He took a younger group and kind of extended our lead. His leadership and his voice on the floor was really good, and obviously his numbers were excellent as well. But now we jump to deep water real fast, so we're looking forward to Friday night. We'll enjoy this one tonight and learn from it on the film tomorrow, and then start preparing for Tennessee. Questions?
Hey Greg, you mentioned Chucky. Coach Hodgson, kind of called him the engine that makes you guys go. I know you said after the exhibition, his ratio, assisted turnovers have just been off the charts. How did he again show some of that command? And just how lethal is it offensively when he can be a facilitator for 25 minutes and then 7 or 8 minutes straight just kind of look for his and be efficient there as well?
Yeah, I think he does a great job of understanding when to push the pace. And I think obviously as a more experienced point guard, being year 3, that he has the authority and the license to do that. So, and I think how he is physically has helped him. And there was a few times he was a blur going up and down the floor. So, and again, I think the biggest thing that jumped out to me was how he took that group and got them together when we had our other experienced guys on the bench in foul trouble. So he is, obviously you always want to have a good point guard play, and we got a really good one in Chucky.
Experimental coach.
How's Connor doing? And I guess how did things change for you guys once he went out?
Well, Isaac Lindsay I thought gave us a good boost. John Blackwell played really well for his first game as a true freshman. So I'm sure he's a little sore, and we'll see how he feels tomorrow and the next day, and just work with our trainers and move forward. But again, it's another tribute to the depth of this team that Isaac can jump in there and really give us a boost, or help us in the second half with Connor's injury and with some foul trouble.
Greg, you guys have had a lot of great teams here over the years, but it was this team that set a new scoring record for the Kohl Center tonight with 105. What do you think that says about the quality and the depth of this year's group, being able to put up such a big number?
Well, everybody gets consumed with the pace of play and the tempo, but it's really about the efficiency. Whether you have 80 possessions or 79 like we did tonight, or there's going to be games where you're going to have 59. It's the efficiency that you play with, and I think that's the thing that jumped out. We're at 1.33 for the game, so the efficiency for us was really good. And I mentioned that we kept them, even though it looked like it was a layup fest at times. They were still under 1. I thought we shut off their threes, which had been a strength of theirs. I think they'd made 31 in the 2 exhibition games. So we wanted to take that away, and at times maybe we got a little spread out. But it was also good for some of our first time against seeing a team that really attacks you off the dribble, and like I said, I thought we got better in the second half. So offensively, I'm more concerned with efficiency than I am what a number says. I'm more concerned on the points per possession, and tonight's were really good.
Chaco?
Coach, you mentioned John Blackwell earlier in this, but I know at the redway scrimmage you were a little disappointed with the way he played. You thought he could play better than that.
Right.
Were you impressed with him tonight, the way he came out in the first game?
Yeah, I think, coming in and backing up AJ and giving us a boost, and then playing probably more than even I had thought because of AJ's foul trouble in the first half, but no, he comes in, he's fearless. And as a freshman, you noticed, I think in the red-white game, he had played like he had practiced. He had practiced really well, and then, you know, freshmen go through those things and they get under the lights for the first time. Sometimes they don't stay true to who they are, but I thought tonight he was aggressive and, you know, he got a chance to be a really, really good defender. He was tough, moves well, got great balance and base, and wants to win. And that's good when you have a locker room full of those type of minded guys.
Greg, you talked last week about wanting to figure out some sort of, in the back here,
Mhm.
sorry. You talked last week about trying to figure out some sort of rotation with these couple of early games. Do you feel like after the scrimmage and after tonight that you got a little bit of a sense of what the rotation will look like going down the line?
Well, we got out of the rotation for a while, you know, there, and actually for most of the game, we were playing, you know, not, maybe as I had planned it, but that's the flow of a game with foul trouble, and, you know, Connor gets banged up, so, I think it's gonna be a while before, you know, tonight's probably not a normal feel for a game just because of the fouls and the pace of it. But like I said before, it's nice to know that I can go to a Marcus Ilver and a Lindsey and a McGee and a Blackwell and a Winter and a Gilmore. I mean, they just keep going on the bench, and guys help, and they're ready to contribute, and that's the mark of a start of a good team, when you have that many guys that are willing to help us out.
Yeah, Ben?
Greg, you talked in the offseason about needing this team to be more active in the post and get to the free throw line more. I know you're gonna go through the tape and find things, but initial impressions, do you think your group did well in those two departments tonight?
For the most part, I thought we did it in spurts, thought we did it early. We went away from it for a bit before we got to immediate timeout and reminded them where we needed to go back again, but to have 56 points in the paint is good. Obviously, that doesn't all come from direct post touches, that's driving it, that's playing in transition some too, so, you know, we need to continue to, you know, pound the ball in the paint and play from there. That's how you get your best threes, and that's how you get to the foul line, is by playing aggressively at the rim.
And then, Jeff in the back, go ahead.
Coach, we saw a lot of different rotations today, but two players I don't think we saw play together were Nolan Winter and Stephen Carell.
Mhm.
Did you consider playing those two guys together at
No.
some point?
Did you see their lineup?
Yeah, that's, and the second part, do you envision with the different lineups that you might face
Maybe.
later on, but you might?
Yeah, maybe. Too big lineup is not what you want to throw out against four guards with the ball coming downhill that fast. We had a hard enough time with one big guy on the floor. But I appreciate your question. You do have to ask, I understand it. Yes, I'll play them together at some point. I'd love to, because they play really well together. Jeff?
Greg, you mentioned points in the paint. Do you think this team is at least showing signs early of having guys who are good at cutting to the rim and having other guys with the ball like Steven or Tyler who are good at recognizing that and getting them the ball in scoring position?
Yeah, that, and when we do touch the post, I think we've got guys that are very unselfish and have a really good feel for how to find perimeter shooters open. You know, we got a couple of those two post speed kickouts, which is always one of the better playmaking positions to touch it. But yeah, I think there's specifically Tyler and Steve. Nolan, I think, is getting cookies done.
Awesome.
They aren't here tonight, they were here last week. Yeah, I think we obviously need to throw it in there as much as we can, but I think you see the experience of Tyler and Steve, and even to a degree Gilly. I think his balance and his counters and those things, and Marcus is getting there. Still gotta get him to finish one of those, but I like how he attacks the glass. And Nolan, I thought, was better tonight with some of his balance and his pace, getting hit and taking contact, so. And then obviously you go down to the wings, and AJ and Klesmet in there. Lindsey has a 3-point play. So yeah, playing through the post is always a good thing.
Let's go right in the middle, Coach.
Speaking of the post, I mean, AJ seems really comfortable with that turnaround, into a fadeaway jumper, I guess. Was that something that he had when he first got here, and like, how have you kind of seen him work on that?
Yeah, I think, he knows how to score. I think that's the one thing that I've noticed really early with AJ is he knows how to find the basket. Just making sure we're getting good shots, you know, but he also has his ability to create something out of nothing and can get downhill pretty well. You saw that late in the second half. I think he got isolated at the top of the key and got to the rim pretty quickly. So I think for him, it's still, you know, there's still a growing process. I think he still has so many things that he can get better at. But he's got a natural ability there to really attack and put pressure on the rim.
Two more for Coach.
Coach Mello Williams with Team MBS Media. Would you talk about the defensive pressure from Classman and Hepburn tonight that created a lot of turnovers that led to a lot of fast break points? Would you speak about their defense tonight?
Yeah,
please?
I think you got two experienced backcourt players that, you know, with what Arkansas State does with a lot of slide screens and dribble drive and those things, you end up switching a lot of those actions. So they've had experience with that. So for them, it, you know, played into something they're accustomed to. Typically of how we guard a lot of that action with, you know, the positionless nature of the game right now. So I think that was the biggest thing, their experience showed. And some younger guys, when we did give up things in the paint or to the rim, there was maybe at times the less experienced guys, but I'm sure I can find some things for Max. I know one for sure that he switched on to a ball handler and still gave up the strong hand, so there's always room for improvement.
Final question,
Nick.
go ahead, Nick.
Absolutely, thanks, Greg. Just, you know, I think it was Connor and Chucky up at Big Ten Media Days that mentioned just that Klesmet had taken kind of a big jump. I know you just hit on something defensively, but offensively didn't miss a shot, didn't miss a free throw. As a third, fourth, fifth option, just how dangerous is that offensively for this team?
Yeah, I mean, what I've watched with Max is just how his confidence has grown, and that's led to him having a ownership voice with this team too. And I think it really started to come out a little bit at the end of last year. I think it took him a while to really get comfortable and really probably prove to himself that he belonged at this level. Transferring, you know, obviously the spring prior, but how he played down the stretch and then watching how he's continued to work on specifically his body. I mean, everybody talked about what Chucky did with his body and how he's improved it. Max did, maybe not to the same degree, but has made himself quicker and I think can play for longer periods of time, those type of things, and continues to work on his game. It's been really good in ball screens in practice in terms of making good decisions, and it's nice to have multiple point guards that you can go to. I can give it to Max, I can give it to Cam for a little bit. Isaac Lindsey has done it, Blackwell's done it at times, and obviously we got a really good one in Chucky.
Okay, thanks,
All right.
Coach.
All right.